What's something the internet killed that you miss? Having a mental catalog of great jokes that most people hadn't heard. It was so much fun to drop a few at parties and get some laughs. I remember how people like that were always the best to have around. They were like joke wizards. Going through life without worrying about somebody taking a video of you and posting it for everybody to see. This one, I feel like I missed out in college because anytime the slightest thing happened at college, people would instantly whip their phones out. And this was 6 years ago. I can't imagine what kids go through now. If you were exceedingly dumb or had terrible ideas, your reach was really only your direct circle of friends. Now idiots can broadcast their ideas across the planet with a click. The village idiots have gone global. I'm seeing a few people say movie rental stores. I think specifically the moment when mom and dad say, let's go rent movies tonight, and you knew you were in for a night of staying up late and eating junk food. Those were the days, man. Video game secrets. It was really cool hearing kids talk about, if you beat every person in a row without losing, you fight a secret boss in Street Fighter 2, and the only way you'd actually know for sure is if it happened in front of you. And being the first to spread news of secrets and Easter eggs among your group of friends. Now you can look up whatever you want to know, and where to find any object in almost every game there is. I miss playground rumors, and when games had genuine mystery. Did you know, if you beat Metroid fast enough, Samus takes off all of her clothes? There is now work culture of always being reachable by email or text for whatever happens. A lot of places expect you to be pretty much on call even when you're not at the office anymore. I worked at an ad agency where days off sometimes didn't even feel like that, because I would still be getting emails about things and was expected to be checking them. There should be some level of balance between work and personal life, and I feel like that is fading because so many places are adapting this type of culture, especially startups. Saturday morning cartoons. As I get older, I realize the ritual of a thing is just as important as the actual thing itself. It's not just about the cartoons. Watching them as an adult, many of the cartoons from the 80s and early 90s were terrible. Rather, it was the event of Saturday morning cartoons that I miss. My daughters can watch whatever they want whenever they want to watch it. They don't know what it is like to have to wait for a week for a new episode. They usually just binge their shows whenever they want. If my kids want to spend the entire weekend watching My Little Pony, they can. And they can do it the week after too. They don't know what it is like to miss an episode of Power Rangers because it was now scheduled at 7 AM instead of 6:30 and I had to leave for school. They also don't have to watch TV together. They can just watch whatever on their phones or tablets or on the TV in the living room. Nothing, except my wife and I, stop them from consuming the specific entertainment that they want. My dad says he misses having arguments with friends which could only be resolved by phoning whoever was most knowledgeable on a subject, e.g. did you know lightning travels upwards? No, it goes down. Let's phone your dad. He's a meteorologist. I miss that. The sense of wonderment and imagining how something could work. Now, I can instantly end it with a search. I also miss the simplicity of doing something. For so many things, I find myself researching the multitude of ways to tackle something and feeling overwhelmed. Before, it would be one way, from a book. You have been visited by the Source Chihuahua. You will be blessed with good pasta, but only if you comment simmer well papa. Now back to scheduled programming. Just going over to your friend's house or the park unannounced to see if they were there and hang out. I miss this. When you had to physically go hunt your friend down and link all the clues you had together. Like, well, her mom said she left for the corner store like 10 minutes ago, but her bike is parked at the river so she probably took X path to get there and blah blah blah. Until you found them, lol. At Disneyland, after you had ridden on the Haunted Mansion ride, you could ask a member of staff to provide you with a special secret death certificate to say that you died on the ride. Obviously it's not legally binding. It was a secret, but when I was younger and visited Disneyland, my mother heard someone request it, and after asking them about it, then we all got one. Unfortunately, with the advent of the internet, the secret got out and too many people were asking for death certificate. So Disney in their infinite wisdom scrapped the little Easter egg. I've since lost mine and had one day hoped to get one for my child. My eyesight. I told you you'd go blind if you kept doing that. BBS systems. When I was a kid there were local bulletin board systems. We chatted, we left messages, arranged doom death matches and played door games. Then you'd see those people in real life, at school and user meetups. It was all local. AOL chat rooms. Around 2006-ish, the internet moved from being a way to talk to new people to a way to keep talking to people you already know. That's super useful and all, but there was a lot to be said for building friendships with total strangers who you only knew by username, but would still chat to every night. It was part of the internet of discovery, rather than the internet of familiarity. I miss it. At times, it was nice to have it be so easy to build those connections. Photo albums. My parents have all these awesome albums from when they were kids, and then when they got married and then from my childhood. I love leafing through them when I'm at their house. My own photos are all on Facebook or Instagram and it's not the same at all. I miss the feeling of walking into a Blockbuster but still appreciate the convenience of streaming. I miss when concerts didn't have a sea of people filming a video from their phone. Like many people, I'm often nostalgic for the feeling of brick and mortar rental stores. Being off the grid, internet and cell phones ruined it. Nothing stresses me out more than a string of texts in the morning. I feel like I have to check it in case it's work related. Email used to be fun. Now it's just a series of people needing something from me or trying to sell me something. Maybe I'm just an old cranky man. Reading a book before bed. Now I mostly surf the web until I get tired. Bookstores and music stores. The feeling of walking into a Borders and browsing the eternally high bookshelves can't be topped. Nintendo Power. Reading. I used to read almost one book per day as a child. Now I have a lot of trouble focusing and I rarely finish a book even though I find it interesting. AFV, yeah, the magic of that show was lost when you could just go into the internet to see funny videos. Quite a few things I could mention, going to the mall, privacy, etc. But I really miss going to the store to buy an album I like. I loved record stores. I still like buying the CD because it contains artwork and there's just something special about having an album in your hands that you've been waiting years to listen to. Now everything is on iTunes or Spotify. It seems more impersonal than it should. Event planning / announcements didn't rely on Facebook. I mean, social media was in full swing by the time I was 19, so I only speak of teenage / childhood memories, but I feel like when event planning involved phone calling, texting, and speaking to each other face to face, you really had mutual connection from people who were as into the idea as you were. Nowadays someone ticks that damn maybe, interested, or yes button or says, oh sweet I'll get back to you, in Messenger, and that's the last you hear from them until they don't show anyways. And yes, I'm bitter from being on the receiving end of many people doing that. I really miss Minecraft before it was memed. It was such a wholesome game that I honestly loved playing when I was younger. Shame. People jump on and are just complete fuckwits and never have to deal with the consequences. If people had to look someone in the face, they mostly wouldn't spout the shit that they do. People were dipshits back in the day too. There's just no record of it, but trust me, I remember. Not having access to literally all the information. By that I mean I love that there is a wealth of knowledge at my fingertips, but there's also a lot of garbage, noise, and information that I just don't need to know. Imagination is dying. It's good for the brain to get bored and wonder and think and imagine. Porn mags being randomly discarded in public places. Finding one as teen was like an epic loot drop. My social life. Being able to avoid spoilers for big movies. The radio star. Mystery in video games. I feel like playing was more meaningful without wikis and guides readily available. This especially applies to MMOs. Knowing the game used to be a really great feat. Catalogs. Haven't seen anyone post that yet. I remember flipping through the JCPenney Christmas catalog and circling stuff for my wishlist. Also, Bass Pro Shops and Sears had some really cool outdoor gear and tools that was fun to look through. The stock market. It used to be a great place for people who could do some quick math. Now it is a game of computers bidding and selling within fractions of seconds and well-dressed guys with connections who hit the buttons. It seemed to me that there was a lot less obnoxiously narcissistic people, probably because before Instagram, YouTube and Vine, not everyone could be famous. Discovering the secrets of video games by talking between friends. The excitement of waiting for a certain CD to come out, going to the store to buy it on that day, getting it home, and listening to it on repeat while studying the liner notes. Couch co-op in video games, never gonna have another game like GoldenEye on the N64. Anxiously waiting for your school district to come across the bottom of the screen on a snow day. Now, they tweet or post it on Facebook. Map reading and people's ability to give or to follow directions from place to place. I know people who can't walk down the block without Google Maps. I really wish I were exaggerating, but I'm not. The internet before 2012. Sane political conversations. People being allowed to apologize for saying something stupid. Thanks Twitter. This is a gold sponge gar. It only appears once every 1 million sponge gar appearances. Like the video within 5 seconds for good luck.